What's up, YouTube? I'm here to do my prediction video for UFC Fight Night Reyes versus Weidman. Let's start at the bottom. The first fight is Daniel Spitz versus Tanner Bosser. To me, this is basically just two strikers going at it. I think Spitz is a little bit more technical. I think Bonner's better at the dirty boxing and shit like that. Neither of these guys are super amazing. I think it's really just whoever catches who first. This is just a super coin flip because it's just basically two mediocre strikers going at it. And I'm just leaning towards Tanner. I think I like his experience a little bit more. I also like his conditioning a little bit more. But yeah, I think Tanner eventually catches Spitz and wins by knockout or TKO. Next is Brendan Allen versus Kevin Holland. And these two guys are really similar. They're both striker jiu-jitsu guys with decent overall wrestling. I think Kevin Holland's a little bit more technical in the striking. I think Allen's a little bit more technical on the ground. I think it's kind of going to be this really back and forth fight, and who can just take advantage of certain positions is probably going to end up winning this fight. I think it's going to be a split decision, but I'm slightly leaning towards Allen. I just like that he's more aggressive. I think Kevin Holland, I don't know, I think he just kind of waits in positions a little bit too much. Like his last couple of fights, in my opinion, haven't been super impressive. I thought he lost to Gerald Muskrat, and I think that, you know, he just gets outpositioned a little bit sometimes. He's just a little slow. It's not like he is slow, it's just he's a little lazy in certain transitions, in my opinion. I think that fucks him over. Like, he hasn't lost yet, but I think this is the fight where it's going to screw him. I think Brendan Allen's going to win a close split decision. Next is Court McGee versus Sean Brady. And these two fight really similarly. Sean's probably a little bit more technical with his boxing. He's definitely younger. You know, he's 10-0. It's close. I do think Court is a little bit better overall, which is why I'm picking him. I think his pressure is going to edge him out 2 of the 3 rounds. I mean, we'll see. He could be old and past his prime, and Sean could just dance around him easily for 3 rounds, but I just don't see that. I think that this fight's going to be on its feet. It's going to be like a dirty boxing match if Court can get it there, and I think he's going to edge out a close decision. Next is Randy Costa versus Boston Salmon, and these are 2 really good strikers going at it. To me, Randy Costa, in his UFC debut, he took it on short notice, so I don't know if he has bad conditioning or if it was just because he took that fight on such short notice. Boston Salmon, you know, he lost his UFC debut. He got caught with a big punch early against that German dude, which is what I thought was going to happen. I thought the German dude was super underrated just because he lost his debut to that really good wrestler. Both these guys are really good strikers. You know, they both got finished by TKO in their last fight, but I think, you know, that was just people underestimating their opponents, kind of. It's really tough, but I'm leaning towards Salmon. I do just feel like the longer this goes, the better it favors him. I think his overall boxing technique is better than Costa. Costa probably hits a little bit harder, but I just feel like this is going to be a striking fight, and I think Boston's going to either get a late 3rd round TKO or win round 2 and 3 and just get a 29-28 decision. Next is Kyle Bochniak versus Sheen Woodson, and I just noticed this right now. There's a whole crapload of just striker versus striker fights, but yeah, this is another one where it's basically 2 strikers going at it. And to me, Sean Woodson didn't impress me in his Dana White looking for a fight thing. He got taken down super easily and controlled super easily, and then he got lucky and caught the guy with the flying knee as he was going in for another takedown. His striking didn't look super amazing. He's primarily a striker, but I think he only has like 2 wins out of his 7. I think he's 7-0 or 6-0. And I just think Kyle's the better boxer. I think he's the better wrestler, and I think he's going to edge out all 3 rounds. I think, like I said, I think Sean just got really lucky with that flying knee. He wasn't that impressive to me. I think that, like I said, I think Kyle's the better boxer and wrestler. I think he's just going to win a 30-27 decision. Next is Molly McCann versus Deanna. I can't say her last name. And I think Deanna's more well-rounded than Molly McCann, but I think Molly McCann's takedown defense is too good for Deanna to get her down. I think this fight's going to be on the feet the whole time, and I think this is going to be like the last fight. I think Molly McCann's takedown defense and striking are both better than Deanna's, and I think she's going to edge out all 3 rounds. Next, we got Charles Rosa versus Manny Bermudez, and this is pretty much both 2 guys who are both really, really good jiu-jitsu guys. They both have some striking, but they both primarily want to get it to the ground. Charles Rosa, I can't remember what happened to him, but something happened where he hasn't fought in like 2 or 3 years. I know it's been a long time since he last fought. I feel like Manny Bermudez is a really big dude. I think he's probably going to, you know, edge out the rounds, maybe get a submission. I just think he's the bigger, more active guy, and he's younger. That's the biggest thing, is he's been fighting more, he's younger, and I think he's just naturally bigger than Rosa. I didn't know this until, I was going to say, this is just a quick thing, I didn't know this until today. The card's actually tomorrow on Friday, for anyone that didn't know. I thought it was on Saturday. That's why I'm doing the video today, my normal day, but it's actually tomorrow. So, just so if anyone didn't know. And Bermudez actually missed weight. which annoys me because he was already missing weight at 35 and now he's missing weight at 45, and he shouldn't be a 55er. He's not that big. But yeah, I think because especially he missed weight, I think he's gonna win by submission in like the third. Next we got Darian Ware versus Darren Stewart, and this is another one. Darian Ware missed weight by like 4 pounds. I think he weighed in at like 189. I think the biggest thing in this fight is the size. I think Darian Ware, you know, he's such a small middleweight. It's pretty crazy. I mean, he's 7-0, and he beat 2 dudes in his last fight. He beat Tom Lawler and that jiu-jitsu guy, Eric Spicely. To me, I think Darren Stewart is just too good of a striker. I think his takedown defense has gotten better in every single fight. And I think that the longer this fight goes, the more likely it is Darren Stewart's going to catch him. Darren Stewart has this weird ability to just keep hitting dudes, and he has so much knockout power that he's able to turn fights around. Like, if you can't submit him early, which seems to be like his one fucking weakness, then he usually ends up winning the fight. And I think that's what's going to happen. Darian Ware is not a big jiu-jitsu threat, and I think the longer this goes, the more and more Darian's going to hurt him. And I think Stewart is going to hurt Darian. My bad. I've been missaying that. I think Darren Stewart, they have such similar fucking names, Darian. Okay, so Stewart, I think, is going to eventually knock out Darian and win. I think Darren Stewart is just going to stuff the takedowns, land the bigger strikes, and eventually win by knockout. And Darian Wynn is the one who missed weight. Like I said, sorry, they had such fucking similar names. I misspoke. Next is Macy Barber versus Gillian Robertson. And to me, Macy Barber, she looks like a really, really good striker. Her takedown defense is good, but I think that if Gillian can get this to the ground, I think she's going to really dominate Barber. I think she's way better on the ground, and I do think that's what's going to happen. I think sooner or later, Gillian's going to get this to the ground. She's looked so good in her last few UFC fights. She's 4-1 in her last 5, and every single time she's gone fights to the ground, she just destroys people. And I just think that's what's going to happen in this one. I think they'll be striking for a little bit. Gillian will get the takedown. And when she does, I think she's going to win by rear naked choke or TKO from ground and pound. Next is Joe Lozon versus Jonathan Pierce. And to me, Jonathan Pierce is a fun striker, but he's not that great on the ground. I feel like unless Joe Lozon is so far past his prime or gets caught like with the first punch, if he gets this to the ground, I think he's going by submission. I just think he's got an overwhelmingly massive advantage on the ground. And this is what I see happening. I think Joe's going to shoot for a takedown early, get it, and then win by like rear naked choke or guillotine, like within the first minute, in all honesty. And that's what I see happening. Either Jonathan catches him with a big punch early, or Joe takes him down and submits him early. It's going to be a fast fight, in my opinion, no matter what happens. Next is Greg Hardy versus Ben Salalis. And to me, this is basically just 2 boxers. I think Ben is the more seasoned boxer. Greg Hardy definitely hits harder. I don't think either of these guys are going to try to wrestle with each other. I just think it's going to be, like I said, a boxing fight. And I think it's just whoever lands that big shot first. And I'm slightly leaning towards Ben. I just think he is the technically better boxer. I think, like I said, Greg Hardy's got the speed and power advantage, but he gasses pretty fast just because he swings so fast, so hard. I think if Ben can just kind of, shell up and dodge those first few punches for the first minute or two, I think he's going to start to take over like that guy that was beating his ass until Greg Hardy hit him with the illegal knee. I think the same thing's going to happen. I think Ben survives the first minute or two and then just starts to take over with his more technical boxing. And I just got Ben winning by 2nd or 3rd round knockout. Next is Yair Rodriguez versus Jeremy Stephens. And I'm personally, I never really cared for Yair one way or another. I thought he was just a fun fighter to watch. But he kind of pissed me off with all this shit after the fight with Jeremy Stephens. I know he didn't do that crap on purpose, but you accidentally swiped the guy in both his eyes, and then he couldn't fight it. And people were saying Jeremy Stephens is scared. It's like, this dude's fought Max Holloway and Jose Aldo. It's like, the 2 best featherweights in the world. You think he's scared of Yair? Let's be fucking real. He's not. He just got swiped in both his eyes and couldn't fight. And then Yair started all this shit and was pretending like, he won something when he accidentally poked the guy in the eyes. It's like, it's an accident, bro. Just, say you're sorry and then move on. Just rebook the fight. But he didn't act like that. And, I already thought Jeremy Stephens was a little bit better. I think in a 3-round fight, it definitely favors Yair. I think that he can definitely keep that running away pace for 3 rounds. He is probably going to win this fight just because it's 3 rounds instead of 5 now, but I'm just going to lean towards Jeremy. I hope he wins by knockout. I hope he walks him down and knocks him out. But like I said, realistically, in a 3-round fight, I can absolutely see Yair doing that shit where he just runs away from him for 3 straight rounds. Next is Dominic Reyes versus Chris Weidman, and to me, it all depends on how Chris looks at 205. I honestly don't know how good his wrestling is going to look against a guy like Dominic Reyes. And this just was the hardest thing to tell us, because I do think on the ground, Chris is going to have a massive advantage. On the feet, Dominic's definitely going to have the advantage. His length and power is definitely a bigger advantage for him. I do think that Chris is the better wrestler and the better overall grappler, and it all just depends on if he's able to take Dominic down and control him. I'm still like on the fence about who I want to pick, just because like I think Chris at 205 is going to be healthier, and you know his chin hopefully will be stronger, but you never know. He's been knocked out so many times. It's so tough, but I'm just leaning slightly towards Chris Weidman just because I do think he's got a big advantage on the ground if he can get it there. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.